Hello everyone and welcome to Asterix, the arcade game. This is a beat 'em up from Konami back in, I'm going to assume 1992 based on those marks there. And we're just going to get right into this. It's set to free play mode, so I can continue. I learned the hard way on this one. That by default the game is set to allow limited continues, which doesn't make much sense when you think about an arcade game. It's like, why would you want people to stop putting their money in? Like, if I, as a child, I played this in the arcades. You know, there was no arcades nearby, but when I did go to a place with plenty of arcades, this was always commonplace. This was in a number of them. And if I went there and I had enough money to pump in a few rounds, because I don't remember having to do this, or this ever happening to me. But if I pumped in a few rounds and went, I'll see how far I can go, and then it turns out after like 3 continues, the game was just like, oh no, you're over, you have to start from the beginning. I'd be like, I want my money back. I would not be happy if the default option was set to, but if by default and it was left that way to, you only have limited continues and have to keep restarting no matter how much money you've put in. And I'd go, and I wouldn't want to put more money into that machine. Of course, either I never had that much money, or, you know, the arcade operators I went to were all smarter than Konami or whoever designed this machine. But yeah, there's that to round off with, but we'll get into the game. So this is Asterix, based on, from what I understand, a cartoon, sorry, not a cartoon series, a comic book series about the Gauls fending off the Roman invasion with the help of an elixir that you saw there given by the dog. The dog doesn't give the elixir in the show, that's during the comic as far as I'm aware, not like this anyway. The elixir gives, from what I understand, some form of super strength or temporary superpowers to the Gauls, so they can run faster, hit harder, all of that, and fight off the Romans. The dog being Dogmatix, there's the 3 names I know for a fact: Dogmatix, Asterix, and Obelix being the other playable character, the big fellow you may have seen at the start. You'll see him when we eventually get around to dying, because we'll swap off from time to time for a little bit of variety. Yep, Asterix, he's your main guy, little short guy, basically some version of Edward Elric, I think of. Short, blonde, all of that. And Obelix, much larger guy, and backstory there, as a child he fell into a pot of this elixir and has since been imbued with permanent super strength. So that's much of the story I know. Romans invade, magic elixir, fight them off, they want the elixir to help their invasion. I will admit, we've got this set to easy mode, simply because while I was going through the settings to turn off the limiter, I played about with a number of things. Though I did almost immediately forget about setting it to easiest mode and thought, until a moment ago, I've not died as much this time round. So, we've fought off the Romans attempting to invade our own village, and we've gone to Egypt to fight off an evil architect and save a good one. It's all in comic book format, like the actual comics. It's a lovely touch, and there are a few changes to sprite work when things happen. For example, you may notice that when we defeat these enemies, the Romans, they lose their helmets and they run off in fear. But not only do they lose their helmets, but the rest of their clothing becomes a little bit dishevelled and damaged. So I like to think their helmets give them super strength. At least that's what they believe. helmets are blessed by the Holy Emperor. And just things like that, we get kissed, the Roman soldiers, a little bit embarrassed, don't know what to do, a little bit jealous as well, I imagine. We move on. I mean, I don't remember where the series originally takes place. I wanted to say France, perhaps, but I could be entirely wrong, and it could be based elsewhere. I believe it is somewhere in Europe, though. Which would make Egypt not massively far away, but still a decent distance. But we've fought off the Romans and made our way into the great mighty pyramids. A mighty jump for the tiny Asterix down there. But one he can walk away from. One thing took me a while to learn, there is a charge attack. Charge up, they'll do a cartoony swing of their fists, and all attacks you'll see end with a biff. Like your old cheesy cartoons or comic books. I would like a few more sound bubbles, a baff or a bam or a wallop. And one thing I've also noticed throughout this is the health bar. Red is decently sized, but yellow is when it's emptied. When that health bar gets to max yellow, that is us losing a life. It's a little bit confusing, because if I was looking at that, I'd think we've got quite a bit of health left. But no, it's the red's the good bit of health. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Just ascend the hastily put together pyramid. These slaves aren't doing much of a job. You take them, they build a pyramid, and it's missing stairs, and it's got big holes in the floor. Much big holes in the floor. Now let's try and get one of these guys into a hole. Nope. Ah, comes Dogmatics. Dogmatics is basically just a screen wipe. We clear out everything in one hit. They're like the magic super helmets for additional points. And points, I assume, make parsnips. Now, with this being an arcade game, the points just go towards the leaderboard. Not even an extra credit. Arcades didn't do that, did they? Someone let me know if arcades would give you an extra credit if you made enough points, but I don't think they would. They'd want the money. Unlike, you know, old console games that were based on arcade games, they'd give you an extra life. But that's simply because they can't get any more money off you. You can't pump that machine full of quarters. You can't pump your old NES or Atari full of quarters to get more lives. You've given it all your quarters. Use our Roman soldiers as weapons. Oh, this will be the architect. Whoa, what's he done? Did he make his... think we're a chicken. Do you do that whole old hypnotism thing where it's like, you are now a chicken? Oh, is that the good one? And we speak in hieroglyphics. Thus the evil architects were defeated, and a palace was built without a hitch. Cleopatra was pleased and Caesar was vexed. So I take it Cleopatra and Caesar were at odds then. So we're going to end this here, and we're going to pick up next time on Chapter 3. So I hope to see you again at Chapter 3, when we go to a new land, England possibly, and I will see you then. So goodbye for now.